Just a few thoughts on the lake and give you an opportunity to orient. As we begin to turn north here, sun's coming around on our right shoulder. We are moving up the side of the lake shore that Jesus called the other side, and that is from the perspective of the observant Jewish community that's on the northwest side of the lake. Demographically speaking, the area on the east side of the lake is Gentile, pagan-oriented. It is associated with Hippus, and so when Jesus comes to this side of the lake, which also is likely the side of the lake in view in the story of the prodigal son, when he goes to a distant country, he didn't have to go that far. He just needed to go to the east side of the lake to completely switch up cultural heritage. Remember, there are pigs involved in that story, as there are in the story of the healing of the Gadarene demoniac. The pigs that charge down into the water will go by that piece of land, and also the feeding of the 4,000. Those two miracles in particular, the healing of the man with the demons driven into pigs, and the feeding of the 4,000 are miracles that are Gentile miracles, and they're on this side of the lake. You can see that we're running around the lake with elevations pretty much all the way around, about 1,300 feet in elevation. On the north side of the lake, the direction we're facing now, we're looking at the inlet of the Jordan River. There's a watershed we'll go explore tomorrow that goes from Mount Hermon down through the upper chambers of the Hula Basin, breaks through a lava dam, and forms the course of the upper Jordan River that comes down and feeds the Sea of Galilee. Conversely, on the south side, where the terrain opens, it's really the only place where we do not have rising terrain. Back and left of where I'm standing right now, there's where the terrain opens for the exit point for the Jordan River. So in many respects, the Sea of Galilee is just a widening in the Jordan River, if you will. The main channel running right through the lake and exiting from north to south. As we move around from the north side of the lake to the northwest, this is where our focus of attention will go today. We have stories associated with Jesus and the evangelical triangle. We spoke of that in class. We'll be interacting with that evangelical triangle and pointing things out there as we have the opportunity to do so. And on the left now, the port side, you're going to see the city of Tiberias and Mount Arbel out there just north of Tiberias in the haze. So an opportunity to explore this area from about Tiberias over to En-Geb. You're getting the sweep of today's activities. In terms of the metrics, the lake is 32 miles around. At its widest point, we're pretty close to that now, you're looking at 8 miles across, 13 miles north to south, about 180 feet deep in its northern and deepest segments. In terms of events on the lake, since we're on the lake, we've got at least 2 instances where Jesus does miracles in connection with water, when he's engaging this lake and causing the storm system affecting it to still. And both miracles involve wind, W-I-N-D, wind. And so let me mention 3 different types of wind that are in play on the surface of this lake, each of which has a different source and a different character, only one of which is unpredictable, the kind of weather that fishermen like Peter, James, and John would go out in. And I think that's an important criteria for us to weigh in those miracles. They're out in about a boat that's about 27 feet long, and they are not going to be out there if one of the first 2 types of wind are at risk. So let me run the list. First of all, we have winds that impact the lake that are associated with low pressure areas that sweep off the Mediterranean Sea, and they're associated warm and cold fronts. We've experienced some of this on the trip, where the winds and the rain come up dramatically. Those types of storms off the Mediterranean evidence themselves in the form of towering cumulus clouds And so they are a predictable wind. Fishermen will remain off the lake. Second kind of wind occurs here in the late afternoon. The Mediterranean sea breeze picks up off the Mediterranean when the land warms during the early morning hours. The land will change temperature more quickly, more readily than the water of the Mediterranean. The heated land, the air over the land will rise, and it will draw in behind it the cooler air off the Mediterranean. That's a breeze that runs 25 to 35 miles an hour by afternoon, and then comes rocketing over the ridges to your left, the west side of the lake. They accelerate by the Venturi effect down those ridges and can generate 3-foot waves that we experience in the afternoon and again. So don't be surprised if we get a bunch of waves rolling in this afternoon. That would be very, very normal. Now, both of those types of winds are predictable and expected. The third type, the Sharkia wind, is not. The Sharkia wind forms in a moment where we get cold air on the mountains above us because in the evening on a clear night the temperature of that air radiates off its warmth. So we end up with cold air up on the ridges because the lake tends to hold the temperature of the air above it. At a warmer point, we end up with cold air on the ridges, warm air over the lake, and at some unpredictable moment, we end up with that wind, or the air mass, the colder air breaking off those ridges, coming roaring down those valleys to your right, and roiling this sea into waves that I've seen approaching 5 and 6 feet. That is the third kind of wind, the Sharkia wind, and it is the most likely wind that would be associated with those miracles where Jesus causes that unexpected and dramatic wind to threaten the boat, and that he miraculously causes it to cease. The ridge that's coming up on your right shoulder that pretty much continues all the way down to the lake through the road that's cut off part of that ridge, is topographically the most likely spot for the miracle of the swine, where Jesus comes from the west side of the lake to the east side of the lake. I think the disciples were hanging out in the boat, and a wild man comes running out naked from the cemeteries at them. And it's at that moment that Jesus engages this man, sends the demons and backing him into the swine, and they run down the ridge and are drowned in the lake. It's an amazing miracle, and the response it gets is twofold. The local people who are there, hippists, are saying, hey, you just ruined our economy. You know, we lost our livestock. Get out of here. And they kick him out. And as he's getting ready to leave, the man who was healed runs down to the boat and says, I want to go with you. And then Jesus turns and says to him, go back and tell your family and friends your story. He does. And the next time we see Jesus come to this side of the lake, there are not pigs but people on the hillsides. 4,000 households, Gentiles, who have a new excitement and appreciation for who this guy might be, Jesus, and he delivers a miracle on this side of the lake, the feeding of the 4,000. So those two miracles in particular on the ridges just off your right shoulder. I'll call other things as they may come into view. Otherwise, I invite you to enjoy the journey here. In about 10 minutes or so, we'll invite the captain to quiet the engine, and Daniel's got a devotional thought for us that we'll share, and we'll make our way back again. If you have questions by way of orientation, don't hesitate to ask. I know that you're interested in the Evangelical Triangle on the northwest side. It's just so easy. We're not going to be able to give you the best orientation right now from this side of the lake, but I promise you later today as we drive it and as we get up on the top of Mount Arvell, which is just off the left side of the boat, the west side of the lake, we should get by afternoon some pretty good views with the sun behind us of the whole arena, and on we will go from there. We're running on the Sea Galilee.